Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm Kim Cohen, and today I am so excited to reveal to you guys how I've been able to travel to all the amazing places that I have in the last 5 years and prior to that. If you don't already know, I am a full-time travel blogger for I guess 5.5 years now. But even prior to that, I've been traveling for many years, but more intensely, obviously, in the last 5 years. So there is a formula that I have built to literally make every single one of my trips possible. I use this exact formula to manifest each and every single place you guys have ever seen me go to. Literally, like, I don't know how to, like, it is so natural and normal to me now that there is no other way for me. And the reason why I've stuck with the system for so long is because it has worked. It has worked, you guys. It has made, my gosh, so many freaking dreams come true. So many. Just like most people, I once upon a star, made a bucket list of things that I wanted to see and do and experience in this world. And I made it a mission to myself, a promise to myself, that I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to have this beautiful list and just wish upon a star and sit at home and just say one day. Like, I was going to go out there, I was going to get it, I was going to add a check mark to every single one of those things, because life is short. You deserve to live your best life. We never know when it's our last day. It is so important to go out there and to make your dreams come true, because the amount of energy that I get from making my dreams come true just gives me a high on life, and I can't wait. I'm unstoppable. I want more. I can't stop. I want to make this one and this one and this one. And once I make one thing come true, I'm like, oh my God, okay, now I have to do this and this and this. And I do want to note that as the years went by, more and more things were added to this little list that became a ginormous list of dreams coming true. It wasn't just a list that I created of wishful thinking. It was a dream of amazing things come true. To name a few, just to be like random out there, things that are top of my head, seeing the Northern Lights. I know. That was my highest dream of dreams, and I've seen them since. I think I lost track. I think like 7 or 10 times. Sleeping in an ice hotel. Lifelong dream. Literally. Staying at a water villa in the Maldives. Dreams. I wanted it to be Maldives or Bora Bora. I didn't really care. I just wanted that experience of just waking up and just being in this villa on the water. My gosh. And as the years went by and as the months went by and I discovered new countries, new destinations, new things to do, the list got longer, and so did the emotion that I associated with going to that place. It wasn't just going, it was getting a certain type of experience while I went there. And when I saw these experiences, when I saw these places, I literally mapped out in my head, as if I was already there, as if I already experienced it, what it would feel like, everything. And I just want to get into it with you guys, because this is like my ABC to being a travel blogger, to not even a travel blogger, to just like traveling the world and making your dreams come true. So there's 10 steps. I wrote them yesterday and then I realized there's literally 10. So it's amazing. Okay, step number 1, inspiration. I am always getting inspired. I know that people look at social media as a place for bad things to happen. I always choose to look at the good. I go to social media like Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook for inspiration. That's always my number 1, whether it's self-growth stuff or travel stuff. That is what I go there to do and to connect with my friends. So I look for inspiration. I like to go on the explore page of Instagram and see what Instagram sends me. I like to like people's pictures that I associate with, because that lets the algorithm and Instagram know that I want to see more cool photos just like that. So once I stumble upon a really cool photo, for example, I'm like, oh my God, this is a beautiful photo. This is an amazing place. And then I usually click on location. So I'll see someone's picture, I'll click on location, then I see all these other people's pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, this place is phenomenal. I have to go there. Or it's an experience. And I start looking at their pictures, and I really I don't just look at their pictures. I visualize, when I'm seeing their picture, I'm visualizing myself being there at present time. What it would feel like to be there, what it would look like, what the weather would be like. I start really getting into it. I start being like, oh, if I went there, like this would be so cute. Like I would wear like this gypsy flowy dress. I always like to like theme in my head prior to even going to an event or even going to a trip, or, you know, I like to already like visualize like what my hair is going to look like, what my clothes are going to look like, because I want to picture also what my photos are going to look like. I like to predict that as well, what the experience will look like. It's not just for the photos for me, but I like to get as detailed as possible that I possibly can to obtaining that dream and to getting that vision. And I want to make sure that it sits right with me. So it needs to feel natural. It needs to feel like, you know, and this is a part of manifesting it, is picturing yourself there, picturing the weather, what it would feel like, what it would look like, what, you know, when I see certain pictures, I'm like, oh, like, you know, I'll go there and I'll see like these epic sunsets overlooking the ocean water. And, you know, I'll have this like blissful moment of just like gratitude to the universe. And, you know, I really get into it. I really get into it. And it's like, daydreamer 24/7. There's like bloop 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 bloop, and I start getting really excited. Step number 3 is looking up excursions and things to do in that location. Okay, so I'm like, okay, let's take Iceland because it's my favorite country. So let's go with that. So with Iceland, or when I went to Finland for the ice hotel, I was like, okay, where is this place? What's the capital city? I start learning about it. And then I'm like, what is there to do there? So there has to be something for me to do there. Otherwise, it's not interesting. I don't just go for the pictures. I go for once in a lifetime experiences. So, you know, Iceland, I was trying to see like, I want to see the Northern Lights in Iceland. Yes. But I'm not just going to go to Iceland for the Northern Lights. You get me? Like, I wanted to make sure that there's other attractions that attract me to wanting to go there. So I start researching like excursion. And I start going through that. And I'm like, oh, that would be so cool if I did that. And I start picturing it. Everything that I'm looking at and that I'm interested in, and I'm really associating myself, fully engaged in manifesting what it would feel like to be on this excursion, who I would meet, what the weather would be like, how would my pictures look. Like, I really get in depth. And the reason why I do all of this is A, to plan a trip, but also to get my manifestation powers and my visions full-blown, like, align with the frequency of what I'm trying to create. Like, I want as much detail as I possibly can get from researching. I want to get as much visuals that I can associate my brain and my thought and my subconscious mind to understand that this is real, this can happen, this is amazing. So a good example of that is also Finland. I stayed in the ice hotel in Kemi, Finland. Love that place, made so many of my dreams come true. But when I was looking for an ice hotel to stay at, I didn't just want to like go and just sleep there for one night and like spend all this money and then just, I don't know, just say I slept in an ice hotel. Like, I wanted a place that has more than that. If I was going to fly to the end of the world, literally, it had to be more engaging than that. So I started to see what there is to do at different ice hotels in the world. And Kemi, Finland had a substantial amount of things to do. They had sleeping in the ice hotel. They had a 3-course dinner at their ice hotel, the 3-course dinner, and everything was made of ice, and the table was made of ice, and everything was ice. And I was like, oh my God, what a cool experience. So I'm like picturing it, right? I'm like, oh my God, like I can see myself sitting there, and they have really cool lighting, and I'm like, I can see myself sitting there and like having to eat really fast because, you know, the food might get cold because it's -5 degrees, and, you know, but it'd be so fun and magical because there'd be lights everywhere. I mean, I was visualizing this whole thing. I also saw that they have sleeping in a glass igloo, which I did as well, and I was like, oh my God, I can totally sleep there. So I can sleep one night in the ice hotel and like have this magical once in a lifetime experience. And then I can be in the ice, like the glass igloo. So the roof is made of glass. And then I would lie down and I would see the northern lights, and oh my God, like what an amazing feeling that would be. And I would really get into it. I mean, when I'm creating and looking at the excursions, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like planning like a freaking trip in my head. Nothing's written down, nothing's paid for, nothing's planned, but I'm just like, oh my God, da 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 da. And oh my God, they have this ship called the Shambo Icebreaker, and the Shambo Icebreaker is like this ridiculous, one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It's like the ship that breaks through ice, and then they stop in the middle of the ocean, and then you get to swim in icebergs in the Arctic Circle. I was like, oh my God, that's so scary, that's so insane. Wouldn't it be crazy if I did that? And these thoughts are like brrr, like going in my head, like full blown. And I started looking up videos of what people did there, how they did it, what their experience was like. you know, and I'm like picturing it, and I'm picturing me being all cuddled up with like my coats and I have the whole thing planned out. You know, I'm picturing that it's going to be cold, but in the morning when I wake up and open the door, I'm going to feel that cold breeze in my face, and it's going to be cold, but it's going to be like also refreshing, and I'm going to go, and there's going to be like, you guys, I really, really get into it. At this point, I'm not even looking at prices. I'm just building the dream. I'm like getting excited and high on just life, just on imagery. I'm like so engaged with what I'm like, I experience it so much mentally while seeing people's videos, people's pictures, reading about it, that I feel like I've already been there. I already know what it feels like. And it's such a fun process. Okay, so now that I have a destination, I have started to manifest what it would look like, what I would wear, all those things. And now I've looked up the excursions. Now I go to hotels. Now I am, whatever, you want to call me diva, diva.com, totally will take it. I like to do this. It's really important for me to also get visually aware. Hotels for me are very important. I know that people like to spend their money on different things. I've mentioned this in the past. My thing is hotel. Like, I like beautiful accommodation. I like to feel like I'm living in a movie and in a dream of some sort. So I go to booking.com. I love booking.com because it's my favorite. Because out of all the websites in the world, or the popular booking hotel websites, booking.com has the biggest pictures, and they have a lot of pictures. And when you're trying to manifest and you're trying to visualize stuff, that is a place to go. You do not want to go to a page where the picture is like so tiny that you're like, you can't even see the detail. You want a big picture on your freaking screen that shows you all the details, and not like 5 pictures. I know that I don't want to say which websites, but there are some websites that have like 5 pictures of a hotel. Like, what? No. I need like, give me 50, give me 30, give me 20, I'll take it. The more, the better for your vision that you're trying to create. So I go to booking.com. I always do 5 stars. That's my first thing. I always start with 5 stars. I want to dream big. As always, I want the best experience in the world. I want a movie-like experience. I want this to be the best trip of my life. I want to start at the best. So I start going through the hotels, and I have things that I look for in hotels. Really important for me is like the bed, the bathroom, and the distance between the hotel and like the city center. I want it to be close to the city center since I am traveling solo. I want to know that I'm safe walking home at night. I want to know that I can walk out. I don't need necessarily a taxi. I can just walk, or I want to know that it's a safe area, that it's a good happening spot. So with my hotel selection, I seriously start going through the hotels. I start at the top and I work my way down to the bottom, and I start looking at imagery. And when I'm looking at these images, I'm looking for what my soul desires and manifesting Kim Cohen standards are, but I'm also looking at it to create my vision in even more detail. I want to like start picturing the bed that I'm going to wake up in, like this princess king size with cool lighting, with a cool photo. Like I want to really feel like I'm there. I'm trying to plan this whole trip up in my head, right? Whether it's the view from my room or, the architecture, whatever it is, I like to go through it, picture myself waking up in that bed, picture myself sitting and looking at that view and just like loving life and appreciating the world that's around me. I like to look at the bathroom, see what kind of shower I'd be having to take a shower in. Hopefully it's a nice one, otherwise I'm not staying there. And so this is all part of my creation in my head, because now I'm really creating like a story here. Again, I've done this on every trip in the world, guys. So it's my little secret. I'm sharing with you guys. Enjoy it. I hope you still like it. If you do, give this video a thumbs up and let's continue. So also when I look at hotels, what I want to mention is another reason why I look at the excursions and I look at the hotels prior to looking at flights is because I want to see how many things there are to do, how many days it takes for me to do all those things. So if there's like 7 excursions that I have to go on, then we're going to go for 7 days because I need to do all of them. I'm not compromising. No, don't compromise on your dreams, you guys. Always shoot for always shoot for the moon or the sun or the stars, whatever is further away. Live up your dream. You're capable of obtaining anything you dream about. You don't need to sacrifice. You don't need to pick. You can do everything. So when I see that I'm like, okay, there's 7 excursions, I need to go on all of them, or there's 5 excursions I need to go on all of them, so the trip is gonna be for 5 days. And then when I go to booking.com, I already see that, okay, like I'm looking for a 5-day period. So then what happens is step number 5, which I really get into detail of planning out this trip, of manifesting this trip. If you don't know by now, I'm a vegetarian. I have been since I was 8. I'm allergic to dairy. My eating habits and pickiness, and I don't eat carbs really that much. So I have to make sure that the hotel also has a menu that I know that I would be eating, because I don't want to like be stressed out about not having enough food or not having enough things to eat, because that's happened to me many times in the past. So now I've just stepped it up a level and added, I love this hotel, I love this country, I love this hotel, and I will go and see the menu that they serve and if they have like vegetarian stuff, because in America, of course they do, but some places in the world don't. Like Japan was like the hardest place for me to eat. Iceland was one of the hardest as well. So I also get into detail, and when I like see a menu and I'm like, oh my god, mushroom risotto, love of my life, and I'm like, oh my god, that would be so good. Okay, I'm gonna eat that for like lunch, and I like picture myself already eating it. I'm like, oh my god, I haven't had it in so long. And I really full blown get in detail about everything: what I'm gonna eat, what I'm gonna wear, what the weather is gonna be like, where am I gonna stay, what kind of experiences I want. What, you guys, I get deep. Okay, just that, you know, I just want you to understand how detail oriented and how visual you need to be when you want to set a trip to go perfect. When you want all your dreams to manifest into reality, you really need to get in full detail of what that looks like for you. Okay, so at this point, I have all those things down, and then I'm like, okay, flights. So I already have the dates figured out. I know how many days I want to go, and I start playing around with the dates. So I have a time frame. Let's say I will say like July. I want to go mid-July, between the 15th and the 19th. And I kind of play like 2 days before, 2 days after. I kind of play with the prices. If it's really expensive, I try to manifest that it will be cheaper, and I try to visualize a number that I want the flight to be reasonably between that time. I also play with the dates. So now I have this like ballpark vision of just, you know, how much my flight's gonna be, how much my hotel, what I'm gonna do. I have everything basically written down. So then comes step number 7, which is just piecing in everything together. Now I'm like storytelling. I'm like watching a movie in my head. I'm daydreaming. I'm using my imagination. Not only am I using my imagination, but I'm also using all 5 of my senses to really know what it feels like to eat that food, what it feels like to wake up in that bed, what it feels like to have that excursion. I'm getting in detail, and I'm like really storytelling on how the whole thing is going to play out, you know? And now that whole vision becomes real to me. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be the best trip ever, you know? I get really excited, and this is the time where I just create the highest of frequency, because all these things that I've pictured and I've planned and I've visualized and I saw are like coming to life, even though they have not happened yet, but I'm visualizing all the detail as if they already had happened. Okay, now step number 8. I'm like, how many fingers do I have? Are we in first grade again? Nope. Okay, so I take a while, first of all, with the last step. I really get into it. I can spend sometimes 3, 4, 10 hours, 3 nights planning this whole thing. It happens. But the more I plan, the higher I create the frequency and the realism of it. Now comes the planning. I'm a planner, guys. If I don't have a plan, I can't do life. So, and most of the time I'm just like a hippie gypsy, like go with the flow. But when I really want to obtain a dream, I am so freaking detail oriented. So for that, I have notebooks. I have notebooks for days. These are the most accessible ones that I have recently come across that are kind of lay on my floor in my office or in different spaces. This one I've had for like 10 years. No, that's a lie. Yeah? No? Maybe. So in these books, these are the books where notebooks that I write all my dreams. I get into details in here. I'm gonna try to see if I find anything. God, I feel like I feel like there's more before this. Hold on. But these are basically where the magic happens for me. This is where I manifest dreams. This is where I plan my futures. This is where I plan money that I want to attract to myself, goals that I want to obtain for that month, for that year, for that anything that I want to create. It's always here. Gratitude list, full of ideas. That's why I bought it, because I love the color. It's my favorite, and I'm full of ideas. You know, so I have 1 second. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Kim Cohen, Maldives and Thailand. Okay. This is so cool. I love looking back at it, because once I've already experienced it, I'm like, I forget that I wrote it. Not, I don't forget that I wrote it, but I just don't really have a reason to go back and look at it. But it's so cool to now look back at it and be like, yep, I did that. So my trip to the Maldives and Thailand literally happened a year ago, which is also funny because I opened it randomly on that page. So my trip was from April 8th to April 18th. I don't know where I got those numbers, but the universe told me those are the dates, so that's what I went with. I literally had to plan my flights. So I started writing down the flights. Okay, LAX to Bangkok, Maldives, Phuket, the islands that I wanted to go see. I wrote here how much that round trip from LA to Bangkok would be, the hours that I'm interested in, whether it would be on, you know, this date or that date, all the amounts. I literally write down everything because I'm a crazy human being. I love it. And so what happens is I literally write down how much the hotels would cost me, how much the flights would cost me, how much the excursion would cost me, how much everything would cost me. And I come up with a total. And I also like to put in there my rent, the bills that I have to pay. And I come out with like a number that I need to attract in order to make this trip possible. Even though I do get sponsored hotels and sponsored trips sometimes, I like to just live in the world of what if that doesn't work out, even though you shouldn't do that. But I want to also be realistic. I want to like aim for a higher amount of money just in case I don't attract a hotel to sponsor me or something like that. So I like to put that in the budget, and if a hotel did sponsor me, then yay for Kim Cohen. I get to have another $1,000 or, you know, $500 or whatever it is. Okay, you guys, so I don't even know what trip this is at this point, but I just randomly found this. So I do the math. I write down on the side rent, spending, Airbnb or hotel, airfare, visa, travel's insurance, clothes, like a budget for clothes that I want to buy for the trip, and I calculate it, and then I write it in huge letters, okay? I don't know what trip this is. This is definitely not the Maldives, but I write it in big, bold letters, the amount that I want to attract into my life, and then I literally go over it with a marker, over and over and over and over and over and over again, because I'm trying to attract that frequency. I always make sure that my numbers are written like beautiful and perfect, and I always take a marker to do it. Pens are just not good enough. So step number 9 is me getting a piece of paper. That's why I love, like, I bought this at Barnes & Noble's, like kind of like it's called a scratchbook, because it has just, I'm trying to find a clean paper here. It's kind of hard to find. Nope, that's not clean either. Okay, whatever. Well, here we know that I actually do what I say. So I like to use like a blank piece of paper like this. I literally write the number in huge. I write the date for the goal, and I go over it and over again to make it official. The reason why there's so many pieces of paper missing is because I just do this like repeatedly for the last 5 years, and even prior to that. I wish I had more examples. Maybe I found one. 300 for a trip. Sorry, I meant 3,000. It was trips for 300. Okay, whatever. I have more notebooks in this. I try to find them, but I can't. But it's all good. So to write it down on a piece of paper to make it official. I also think that it's really important to actually physically write it down. Get yourself a notebook to write down your dreams, to write these planning out. Of course, I can use a calculator on my phone. Of course, I can use the notes on my phone. But science and researches have shown that when you physically write stuff, it actually creates a frequency, it creates an energy more than typing, because it actually creates the motion of the letters that you are writing, and it makes your brain associate more with it. It becomes more real when you write down the number or do the calculation physically on a piece of paper than just typing it. And then step number 10 is piecing it all together. At this point, I know how much money I need. I know where I want to go, what I want to experience, what it's going to look like. And I like to put that piece of paper, by the way, in a place that I see a lot. So I like to put it on my refrigerator because I spent the most time there. My office is there. I work from home, and the place that I have it on, I can see it also from my bed. So when I write it in big bold letters, I can literally see it from my bed. I will try to get you guys footage of it on this video to see what I mean by that. And that's it. Step number 10, I'm literally piecing in together everything. I'm trying to attract that specific amount of money to make the trip possible. I'm picturing the entire trip. I'm planning it. I literally sometimes look at shit every single day. It's the same imagery, and that's what you need to do. It's not shit. I don't even know why I use that word, but that's what you need to do. You need to continuously create that vision, create that vibration, create that frequency of obtaining that dream, of just climbing up the ladder of frequencies to get up here, to get onto your dream's frequency. And researchers have shown that our mind and our brain works on imagery, and it doesn't know what is real and what is real. What is real and what is not real. It actually confuses our subconscious mind, imagery sometimes when we show it things, and it doesn't know if it's real or not real. And so our mind, our subconscious mind, sometimes battles it out. But once you repeat the same pattern over and over again, and you continue showing yourself that imagery, what happens is your subconscious mind puts its hands up in the air like, I give up, I'll accept, and it starts attracting that dream of yours. And this is literally my ABCs to planning trips, you guys. This is exactly what I do every single time. For months on end, whatever, I don't plan that far in advance. I usually plan like a month or two because I want a good momentum of dream manifestation time. But that's exactly what I do. I play with those imagery. I bring up that trip. I look up stuff. I look up more excursion. I look up more pictures. I look up more outfits. I start planning stuff. This kind of picture, that kind of picture. That is what I do on step 10 until I get there. So I want to throw like some fun little random things that happened before I end this video. Amazing things started to happen. I attracted amazing hotels to sponsor me, excursions to sponsor me that I could have only dreamed of, that were so out of my price range at the time when I first began blogging. I think my first year of blogging, I don't know if this happened in the first or second year of blogging, in my first year of blogging, I went to 18 countries. The next year I went to 13 countries. I had a Euro trip. On one of those trips, the trip that I went to Iceland, I went to like 9 different countries in 2.5 weeks. It's insane. But there were 2 hotels that I fell head over heels over. One was in Prague, which is the Mark Hotel. There was these pictures that I saved that I was like, oh, I can't imagine living. I'd feel like a princess living and waking up to this room. I sent out a bunch of letters to different brands, different hotels to work with me, but I was so keen on getting this one, and I literally prayed for it, and I pictured it, and I saved photos of it, and I would just kept looking at them in my phone. And behold, I ended up getting that sponsored. Out of all the hotels, the one that I wanted the most, like, yay! Like, they wrote me. Same thing happened in Vienna, another hotel, like this dream hotel, brand new hotel. I don't even understand. I didn't even have like a substantial amount of followers at the time, but I was like living the freaking dream. One of my favorite hotels I've ever stayed in my life. I would have easily moved there. Same thing, saved photos in my phone, looked at them randomly, not randomly, like almost every day, to attract, again, like what it would feel like to wake up there, like what it would feel like to have that experience. I did mention the Ice Hotel earlier, and super wild. The Ice Hotel was a completely sponsored trip that I ended up attracting into my life. And it was so wild because they initially offered me a free night at the Ice Hotel itself, and I think the 3-course dinner that I've really wanted. And then it was also, so then it was just that. And I was so grateful for it, truly. And then there was something that I saw that they had there, which was the Shambo Icebreaker experience, where you get to swim in icebergs, and it's like this Titanic Antarctica experience. And I looked at it and I was like, it's kind of a lot of money. And I was going to 9 countries. Was that trip? No, that was a different trip. That was a different trip that I did 4 or 5 countries spontaneously last minute. And I was like, I really want to experience that, but it's kind of scary, but it looks amazing. It looks like a chance in a lifetime. But like, I don't know if I can like budget that with all the countries, like Scandinavian countries are really expensive. And I was like, I wish I could go, but oh well. It was so amazing. Behold, literally, I don't know, like the next day or like a day before I was supposed to go on my trip, I remember I freaked out. The lady from the tourism board, Nora, she's such an angel, literally writes me out of nowhere. She's like, hey Kim, I wanted to ask you, would you be interested in going in the Shambo icebreaker and swimming in the Arctic Circle for free to sponsor us to create a video? I was like, I woke up, I remember I woke up in the morning and I saw, and I was like, oh my God, what? Oh my God, I can't believe we get to do this. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. I freaked out. I really wanted it. And it didn't seem even attainable then, but I had pictured myself prior being on the Shambo icebreaker and like making it like Titanic and putting my hands up in the air like Rose and Jack and like, and it ended up getting, coming into my life, and I was so, oh my God. And the experience, you guys, was even better. I mean, I've had a lot of top moments of my life of just amazing blissfulness. This is definitely one of those things that I will forever and ever remember and cherish in my heart. Like the gratitude for that gift that Nora and Visit Cami Finland gave me. The entire trip was amazing, but that, like, I was so next level grateful. Like, it was a dream come true. It was some shit out of the freaking movies. It was amazing. And I've literally done this so many times, you guys. So many times. Everything always somehow works itself out. Even when I think I'm not going to make that enough money before the trip, maybe I can't go, maybe this, maybe that, it always works itself out. It's amazing. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this. If it was helpful to you, what you think about it. I do it because it works, man. It freaking works, man. I'm happy I developed this system. I'm proud of my system. It's an amazing system. It's made so many of my dreams come true. It's made a shit ton of dreams come true. I don't even know where I would be without this system. But manifesting is super powerful. Visualizing things is super powerful. And that's where the law of attraction starts to happen. It's between creating that imagery and creating that dream and manifesting it, and your dream being here, and the law of attraction is just in the middle. It's that thing that connects both pieces. It connects you from down here to the frequency of up there. It attracts because like attracts like. Anyways, love you guys. Let me know what you thought about this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, kisses, bye, see you tomorrow. Mwah!